You know him from movies like Snatch and Crank and The Transporter, but now he's starring in the #1 movie in the country, The Expendables. Please welcome Jason Statham! Now, I say this all the time. They really appreciate movie stars who come and support the show, and they show their love when they come out. It catches everybody off guard.
Unbelievable. Fabulous.
But you know, Jason, you're one of those dudes that dudes aren't threatened by you. Like, dudes like you and women love you. Everybody that I told that was female that you were going to be on the show.
They must need glasses.
So the movies that you do are all action.
Yeah.
I mean, you are one of the biggest action stars in the world, and you sense that. I mean, do people sense that when they see you?
I don't know about that, George. I mean, you know, I get to work with a lot of good people, and this is probably the biggest and the best one I've done for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, I'm working with big legends like, you know, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Willis, and when you're in that company, you've got to take your hat off, you know?
Absolutely. It's what was your first break, though, when you started out?
It was years ago. I did a movie called Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. And, you know, I was playing this street corner con man, and incidentally, that's what I used to do before I was an actor. So...
Yeah, exactly. Will you explain, I know you talked about it a little bit. Explain to people what you did before.
Well, I used to sell, like, perfume and jewelry out of a suitcase. It's like, you know, you've heard of Harrods, haven't you?
Yes.
I used to work outside there on a Sunday, and we used to have a few people in the crowd working for me, and, you know... It wasn't an honest way of getting a living, but it was a way of getting a living.
Yes, and how did you go from that to becoming an actor?
Well, I was very fortunate to meet Guy Ritchie, and he put me in my first film.
Yep.
And then things just sort of progressed. You know, you get to meet the right people, you get another chance, and
when you went to audition for the movie, he wanted you to play a con man, and you conned him. You really conned him.
Well, basically, he'd written a small sort of scene that you know, basically, I did that for real, and so I used to help him with the dialogue, and he said, well, you know, he's going to give me a credit for writing this thing. So, you know, it's just about me playing myself rather than me trying to create a character, and,
right.
You know, who knows how it was going to go.
When you were coming up, you were always athletic, but I found it interesting that you used to be a diver, like you dove, right? Like
Yeah, I did it for a little while. It was a silly hobby, you know. When I was a kid, I used to, you know, think I could do things that... it's funny, I was on holiday with the parents years and years ago, saw some guy do a high dive and thought, you know what, let me have a go at that. It was just a stupid an idea that I thought I'd be able to do it, and, you know...
And did you train as a diver?
Yeah, I was on the British team for like 10 years and, you know, run around the world competing, but...
I think I have a picture, but I don't think this is from the British team. Let's take a picture of... let's look at a picture of Jason diving. Look at that.
I think I dropped my watch in the water. I went back in for it, yeah.
Do you dive now? Do you still, if you go on holiday, do you...
No, I'm more interested in other things.
Yeah.
I go under the water now instead of above it.
Do you scuba dive?
Yeah, I do like scuba diving, yeah.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's great, down there with the fishes.
Yeah. The movies that you do your own stunts. Anybody that's seen any of your movies, I find it hard to believe, especially Transporter, that you do all of your own stunts.
Yeah, well...
I mean, how... And it's important to you that you do that. I
dug myself a little hole there, really, you know. It was more of a necessity than me wanting to do it. It was like, you know, they couldn't afford a stunt man. They couldn't afford a stunt double. So, you know, I did a film in France, and you know, it means another mouth to feed, more wages to pay. So you end up doing your own things, and that's how it all panned out. So now... they expect me to do my own stunts, so it's... And you've had
to have been injured or tweaked or...
Yeah, you get that. You know, you can't expect to be sort of banging heads with, you know, with stuntmen, and especially this movie, you know...
Oh, yeah.
You know, Sly took a few knocks himself. We all take knocks, but that's, you know, that's what you get when you're doing stuff, you know.
And you know what it shows in the movie? It's completely believable. Like I was saying, no CGI, the explosions are real, the action is real, you can sense it. And it comes across as one of those kind of movies that Clint Eastwood would have done or John Wayne would have done, where it's real, the action is real.
Well, that's the thing with Sly, you know, he's all about real action, he wants to shoot through the camera, and, you know, it's old school techniques that he brings, and, you know, that's the way he likes to make films.
What was the one stunt that you did that you were like, oh man, this is...
We did a few, but I mean, the one that sticks in my mind is the stunt in the aeroplane, because you know, everyone was concerned about, is he going to be okay? Is he going to fall out the plane? Is he strapped in all right? I mean, the next day we found out that the plane was, you know, barely airworthy. You know, it was like 60 years old. It hadn't been serviced in 30 years. I mean, Sly wanted to bring it in for the premiere. We found out that it had been crushed into a cube this big, never to be flown again. So that was supposed to be Stallone's stunt in the first place. So later did I find out that it's like, hang on a minute, what are you giving me your stunt? I thought that was like some privilege, but really it was because he wanted me to, you know...
He wanted you to stand out, to sit in the front of the plane. Let's take... Here's what we're talking about. Let's take a look at Jason in the Expendables.
Not bad, Sly.
How many times, how much coverage did they put on that scene?
Well, we only had to do it, we had to circle a few times, but you go up once, and then, you know, they film from a helicopter, and they have one on the front of the nose of the chopper, and then they have one in the cockpit. Yeah, you know, we spent a couple of hours doing it, yeah.
And you're really sitting in front of that plane as it's going over that little town.
Yeah, Sly's a man that you can't say no to, you know? He's, like, very convincing. He's like, so, you're going to do it, aren't you? And I'm like, well, you know, he's very insistent, and, you know, he always gets his way. And
but I love the fact that it was his stunt. And then he goes...
Typical, huh? Thanks, Sly.
Now, growing up, you were a huge fan of Sylvester Stallone's.
Yeah, he's the big
man,
legend,
yeah.
Rocky, Rambo, I mean, he's, you know, an inspiration to everybody in action movies and, you know, to the world around. It's like we did this press tour recently, and we was in France, and we was in some of the suburbs down there, and it is like, you know, it's like you're with Elvis Presley. He's bigger and better, and they just, you know, they love him. There's not a man more appreciated than Sly. And he, by the way, he hates compliments, so it's a good job he's not here.
But absolutely, I mean, he did it on his own terms.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Rocky, he wrote the story, and they wanted somebody else to be Rocky, and he wouldn't give him the story unless it was him.
That's right, you know.
And that kind of conviction stayed with him through the whole process. Even putting this movie together, I saw him at a boxing match 2 years ago, and he was telling me a little bit about what he wanted to do and who he wanted to put together. I mean, this cast, you have Stallone, you got Jet Li, you have Terry Crews, Randy Couture, Steve Austin, Mickey Rourke, Dolph Lundgren, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and yourself. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it's the first movie I've been in that I felt like a pussy. They're like, they're like the meatheads. Yeah. So it's good to make a lot of friends on that kind of a film set.
Oh yeah. Was it
Best
hard?
behavior.
Was it hard for Stallone to wrangle you guys together?
You know, so I think it relates back to the respect that people have for him. I mean, there's not another person that could get that kind of crew together. And I think people just, you know, they respect him, and they love the kind of films he does, and you know, it doesn't matter what role it is, you just want to work with the man, you know?
Right. Well, let me tell you, man, I enjoy your work. I'm glad that you came to see me.
Thanks, George.
Jason, everybody, Jason Statham. The Expendables is in theaters now. Go see it. Jason Statham, Aubrey Plaza, when we come back.